Welcome to Hypnosis Health Info. I'm Roger Moore. I thought it was important for me to do an update on the light switch self-hypnosis. It's a self-hypnosis technique that I teach to all my clients, and it's been several years since I've actually talked about this and how to fully do it. And over the years, I've changed some ways of teaching it and how I do it. And it's a technique that I first learned from Jerry Kind at Hypnosis in Florida, and we've adapted what he taught and made it work for myself and for our clients. And to me, it's important to learn how to give yourself suggestions, take yourself deeply relaxed, and bring yourself back up in 1 minute. And the reason for a minute is then you always have time. And you learn to be in control of you, which is, to me, what hypnosis really is. It's the ultimate display of control. It's about being in control. It's about you taking control of you. It's not being controlled by anyone else. It's you being in control of you. And you don't have to be dependent on me or any other hypnotherapist. You don't have to be dependent on any CDs. You learn just how to do this all on your own for yourself. And you don't need 30 minutes to do it. So I always have people use some sort of physical cue, an anchor. I always suggest using your index finger and just turn, you have it up is on, and I tell them to shut off their light switch, and they're lowering their finger. And so it's just like shutting off the lights. You want some sort of physical cue. So whether it's lowering your finger, doing your whole arm, you could squeeze your fist, you could tap your foot, you could, do a fist thing, any one of a number of physical anchors, physical cues, a cue to your body that it's time to relax. When you do that, you can imagine an endless staircase or escalator or elevator of relaxation. You can imagine perhaps a rope unbraiding or a pebble just drifting down through the water. And just go to your favorite, most relaxing place, preferably outdoors. So think about that for a moment. Where is it outdoors that's just most relaxing for you? For me, that's Paipu Beach on Maui. I can feel the straw mat under my back, the heat of the sand coming up through the mat, the heat of the sun in my body. I hear the birds in the bushes behind me, the coconut leaves rustling, the waves coming in, and there's that sweet scent of plumeria mixed with the salt air, and I'm gone, totally, very deeply relaxed. Now, you want to learn to do this in a minute, and for the first week, I'd really urge you to focus on a minute. That way you can trust yourself and always know you're in a rush, you've got a time commitment, that you can do it in a minute. After the first week of practicing and knowing you can do it in a minute and trusting yourself, if you have 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 20 minutes, great, go for it. But this first week, really practice on the minute. So you're going to want to look at a watch or a clock or a cell phone, something that tells you minutes and seconds. See where the minute hand is, the second hand is. Shut off your light switch. Take yourself to your happy place, your very relaxing place. And just like, most of us have had the experience of waking up, a minute or so before the alarm clock goes off in the morning, same concept. Ask your unconscious mind to let you know when a minute is up. And when you think a minute is up, turn on your light switch and look to see how close to a minute you came. Now, for our purposes, a minute isn't a hard, fast, rigid 60 seconds. 30 seconds is kind of short, minute and a half kind of long, but aim for about 55, 65 seconds. That's a great time frame. So you shut off your light switch, take yourself deeply relaxed to your relaxing, happy place. When you think a minute is up, you turn on your light switch and look to see how close to a minute you came. Now, you're going to want to anchor this or hook this to other activities that you're already doing. Some people do it as soon as they open their eyes laying in bed in the morning. That doesn't work for me because I'm hitting the snooze 5 minutes later. I'm just back asleep. So I literally have to get out of bed. So do it either just before or just after you brush your teeth. Do it with breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, afternoon snacks, dinner, teeth brushing at night, and bedtime are all great hooks, great anchors. My last one at night, when I crawl in bed, I just shut off my light switch and I don't turn it back on because it's part of my going to sleep process. But you're also going to need reminders. And this is the #1 place people fall down, is they don't believe me that they need reminders, or that they're going to have to leave them up for a while. Back in the old days, and like the days of Franklin planners, or for people that don't have smartphones, sticky notes work really well. Just little sticky notes. Put, get 5 of them out, and maybe have 2 of them on one side of the bathroom mirror and 3 of them on one side of the computer monitor. By the end of the day, all 5 should be moved to the other side. Or it's a Saturday, you're home all day, put all 5 in the bathroom mirror. Today, like in my iPhone, I have a app called RX Mind Me, and I have a program in there, light switch 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and set up throughout the day, and every day I get these reminders to do my self-hypnosis. I've been doing this for years. I really don't need the reminder. I have it more as a teaching tool for my clients. But I had sticky notes years ago in my Franklin planner for 2 full years before I was finally doing it without reminder. And I just take them from one day and move them to the other day. Think about it for a moment. Think about those of you who have children. Children know how to brush their teeth by about age 3. But for most girls, it's somewhere in the age of 9 to 11, boys 13 to 15, before they start brushing their teeth on their own. When girls discover boys, boys discover girls, it becomes their rule. Up until then, it's mom and dad's rule. Right now, doing your self-hypnosis is Roger's rule. It hasn't become your rule. And that's why you need those reminders, because I'm not going to be following you around asking if you've done your self-hypnosis yet. So that's what you take on for yourself, of putting those reminders in and use them until one day you realize that you're just doing it on your own automatically throughout the day. I encourage you to plan on doing it at least 5 times a day and get those reminders in. I actually do probably 10 to 12 times every day. And again, the reason for a minute is you always have time for 1 minute. Now you want to practice this in loud, noisy places. If you can only do it in the quietness of your home, in a soft, cushy chair with soft music on, it's not functional. So practice it in the coffee shop. Practice it in Costco, or for those of us who take the ferry in the galley on the ferry, or practice it in the airport terminal, or Starbucks in the coffee shop, wherever you might be. Practice it there. At home, have the TV and the stereo and the dog on, and the dog barking, and the vacuum cleaner going, the kids fighting. It's a perfect time to do it, because those are real life things, and it's a time where, with all the commotion going on, you can take yourself deeply relaxed, get grounded, get centered, and bring yourself back up. So again, practice this in loud, noisy places. When you start out doing this, what I'd urge you to do is use like a yardstick scale, 36 being wide awake, fully alert, 1 deep, deep relaxation. And just notice on that scale between 2 very, very deeply relaxed and 35 almost wide awake, how deeply relaxed you are. Now sometimes you get clear down to a 2 in a minute, and it feels really, really good, and it's a whole lot of fun. Other times you might only get to a 30. That doesn't mean you can't do this, or you're doing it wrong, or you failed, or anything like that. It simply isn't that interesting. I didn't get as relaxed. Now here in the medical dental building, dentists will call up and say, Roger, how soon can you get down here? They got somebody that's flipping out that needs a root canal or a tooth extraction. That person, I got to get to a 2. But for most of us in the work that I do in my office, a 30 can be just as effective as a 2. A 2 feels better. It's more fun, but it's not necessarily more effective than a 30. A 30 can be very effective. Sometimes it feels like I'm pulling teeth or doing root canals in here, but we're really not. So if you don't get as relaxed, don't worry about it. And when you're coming from a 70, 30 is really pretty darn good, so it's all kind of relative. So you're going to do this 5 times a day. You're going to use reminders. You're going to shut off your light switch. You're going to take yourself deeply relaxed. When you think a minute is up, you turn on your light switch, bring yourself back up, look to see how close to a minute you came. Now for about a week or so, what I'd urge you to do is just practice doing this light switch technique. Don't worry about what's the purpose or about hypnosis suggestions or anything like that. Just practice this. And quite honestly, folks, if you never ever did any more with this than to take 5 one-minute periods every day for the rest of your life to do nothing more than breathe, that in and of itself would have a very major and very positive impact on your life. I really do have a bigger purpose in mind, and I'll make that my next video. I'll talk about written suggestions. Now, everything that I've talked about here, if you go to hypnosishealthinfo.com, up there in the orange menu bar, you'll see the word self-hypnosis. And the very first drop-down tab is going to be the light switch self-hypnosis technique. And this video is actually going to be placed there. It's going to replace the one that's there now. And everything I've talked about here is all written out. There's also audio recordings of how to do the light switch technique. And of course, if you have questions on it, or how to do it, or what about this, or what about that, feel free to give me a call at 206-903-1232, or send me an email, roger@hypnosishealthinfo.com, and let me know how to support you. But again, folks, self-hypnosis is about you taking control of you. And you can really make very major, very positive changes in your life by just taking 1 minute. Getting out of the worry and the fear and the panic and the anger and the upset and the stress and all those things, getting back present, conscious in your body, aware of your feet on the floor, aware of your breath. Being very mindful, being very present, being very conscious, and knowing that in this moment you're really okay. I'm Roger Moore, and this is Hypnosis Health Info.